Hey!
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're back! The Doll 362 is back, finally, after a long pause, more than overdue. We're going to do the boiler thingamajig. We're going to start off with the laser cut pieces here, you may recall that. When I made these, I didn't have this thing in particular in mind. I just wanted to build a boiler. That never happened. And so these things just laid about catching rust, as you see. And I thought these things are a great base to make this boiler house out of. And to do that, we only have to do a couple of slight modifications. We'll have to increase the size of the burner chamber, we'll have to saw out a hole for the ventilator housings, the boiler needs a space to go in right here, and we'll have to cut a notch on the other side as well, drill a couple of holes for mounting the thing and for putting the piping through it, and it should be usable for us. So yeah, we'll probably start off with drilling all the holes, and if somewhere down the line it may seem to you like I'm doing 2 of these, that's because I am. You never know when you will need a boiler. May seem stupid right now, even to myself, but future me is going to be thankful at some point. Bending this stuff is going to be interesting. I have no experience really in bending more than 90-degree angle and maybe once back. I suppose I'll just start one end, fold, 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 and hopefully come out the other with no issues whatsoever. I don't know. Well, here's the second one. It went a lot smoother. I started in the middle and did kind of a zigzag technique. So first I bent both sides over like this, then I bent these two flat so that I could have space in the vise again, and so on and so forth. I got a little more creative with chucking methods, if you will, you know, clamping blocks with seat clamps and whatnot to get there faster and more accurately. And this one has quite a few less blemishes than this one does. It's hard to show probably on camera, but especially here, this one is really annoying to see. On this one, it's just completely smooth. This here, the top, which I folded over, a lot nicer on this one. I even made myself a special bending block for this one, because the outside measurement here is supposed to be 60 millimeters, and I used my 60 by 60 wooden pieces to fold these flaps here over. Then I took off 2 millimeters on the shaper, because this is 1 millimeter plus 1 millimeter, and was able to chuck this inside and then clamp the whole lot here around it. I wish I had done the time lapse on this one. This went just so much more smoothly. Now, they both sit flush on the table. This one rocks a little bit, this one doesn't at all. This one is the one I'm going to be using for the Doll 362, and this one will be the spare. I've now temporarily fixed these together with some wire here. I drilled some extra holes. I'll make some brackets to fit these together later on in the game. We'll continue with the air vent holder upper thingamajig 9000s. So here they are. Can't say they're looking too shabby. You can see the lower ones seem to be tight around the corners. That's because this is 0.3 millimeters and this is 0.5 millimeters steel, and therefore it's easier to bend. Now, I actually kind of like this more round look. This one is a bit extreme. You can see it's more of a flowing contour and the entire middle section is a bit bowed. I'm going to leave it just like that. It would take just a block of wood and a hammer on it to make it flat, but I think it looks more organic than this. I don't know, I like it more, and well, we've got 2 of each, so it's going to look symmetrical on the 2 boiler housings. Now I'm going to do a little bit of tidy up. You can see that these lines aren't exactly parallel to the rest, and on this one it's the edges here that are moving upward. After that, I'm going to temporarily stick these onto the boiler housings and transfer the holes that I drilled into there to be able to bolt these down in place. So here we've got the 2 fellas, mounted the thingamajigs here. Now that that's off the list, we're going to have to jump over to the lathe and make the covers here. Number 1 is first machine the contour, which is very little machining actually, radius on the outside, small divot in here, and then drill these holes and saw out the contour.
Happy feet, I've got those happy feet. Give them a blow, they'll beat and baby get dancing. I've got those 10 little tips that look so. And when they hear a tune, I can't control my dancing heels. Make my soul weary, blue. Can't get into my shoes because the shoes refuse to ever go. Weary. I keep you from all the hills of music green. Just got those happy feet.
Right, well, I've busted all my saw blades up, so while I'm waiting for the new ones to arrive, let's do something else in the meantime. Like this cover plate here, for example. You see, little Adrian made a little mistake in that the hole here isn't centered, and so what I'm going to do is put a cover on top of it, which has some nice acute bends to the outside, and nicely patch that up. Alright, this is where we are now. You can see the ventilator covers here did actually turn out rather nice. I've got a few ones which are a little bit ugly, but the good thing is you can hide them on the rear side, nobody's ever going to know. Take a peek in here. I also added the angle plate to keep everything together nice and rigid. And for next part, I'm going to abandon the make two boiler housings at the same time. Number one, it consumes a lot of time, especially on parts which have 6 notches and are 4 each. It's, well, I want to get this thing done sometime, but I do not want to hustle things. And, you know, if you are like me and waited 6 months for this result and all you have is a rusty piece of sheet metal, and I can understand that, well, it doesn't look as good as the steam engine, but this is only temporary. The entire thing is going to get blued sometime, but in the meantime, I'm not going to sand this, polish it or anything, because it's just going to rust anyways. So for now, you're going to have to make do with the reduced optical quality, and if you have any idea about how to remove zinc plating from metal, because that's obviously something I'll need to have done before bluing the parts, then let me know. Can I sandblast these, or do I need to go at it with sanding paper? Is there a chemical way of removing it? I don't know. For now, thank you very much for watching. Glad you stayed the time, and see you next time. Bye bye.